Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a beautiful princess who was loved by everyone in the kingdom. She had everything she could ever want, including a loving family, a beautiful home, and all the material possessions money could buy. But despite all this, the princess was not happy. She felt like something was missing from her life, and she couldn't figure out what it was. One day, the princess's mother, the queen, had an idea. She wanted to throw a grand ball and invite all the young bachelors in the kingdom in hopes that her daughter would find a husband. The princess was not excited about the prospect of marriage, but she knew that it was her duty to produce an heir for the kingdom, so she agreed to attend the ball. At the ball, the princess met a dashing young prince from a neighboring kingdom. They danced together and they hit it off right away. The prince was charming and handsome, and the princess found herself falling in love with him. They were married in a beautiful ceremony the following year, and the kingdom rejoiced. But the princess's joy was short-lived. Soon after she became queen, she became pregnant. And when her child was born, she realized that it was a girl. The kingdom was not pleased with this news, and the queen was forced to send her daughter away to live in a small cottage in the woods. But the little princess was only 7 years old when this happened. Her mother had arranged for her to be raised by a woman named Minchina Man, who lived in a small cottage in the woods. The princess was devastated when she had to leave her family behind, but she knew that it was for the best. She was determined to make the best of her situation, and she quickly settled into life in the cottage. She made friends with the animals in the forest, and she spent her days playing in the woods. She also developed a close relationship with her caretaker, who taught her how to cook and clean and take care of herself. The little princess was a quick learner, and she was eager to please her caretaker. She was grateful for the lessons that she was learning, even though they were not the ones she would have chosen for herself. As the years passed, the little princess grew into a beautiful young woman. She was kind and compassionate, and she was always willing to help those in need. She never forgot the lessons that her mother had taught her, and she was determined to use her beauty and intelligence to make the world a better place. One day, while the little princess was walking in the woods, she came across a group of children who were being bullied by some older boys. Without hesitation, she stepped in to help them, and the older boys soon found themselves on the ground with the little princess standing over them. The children cheered as she helped them up and dusted them off. From that moment on, the little princess was known throughout the kingdom as a champion of the underdog. When the little princess was 18, her father, the king, died and her brother took the throne. He was a kind and just ruler, and he was beloved by his people. But he was also very busy with his duties as king, and he didn't have much time for his sister. As a result, the little princess was often left to her own devices. She used this time to travel around the kingdom, helping those in need and making friends along the way. She visited hospitals and orphanages, and she donated money to those who were struggling to make ends meet. She also started a school for poor children so that they could get an education. But the little princess's good deeds did not go unnoticed. There was a man in the kingdom who was jealous of her popularity. He was a wealthy merchant who had made his fortune by exploiting the poor. He hated the fact that the little princess was using her wealth to help those in need because it was taking away from his own wealth. The merchant decided that he needed to do something to stop the little princess, but he didn't know what to do. Then he had an idea. He would frame her for a crime she didn't commit, and then the king would be forced to banish her from the kingdom. The merchant went to the king and told him that he had seen the little princess stealing money from a beggar. The king was furious and he confronted his daughter. The little princess was shocked. She would never steal from someone who is less fortunate than her. But when she tried to explain herself, the king would not listen. He was too busy fuming about how his daughter could betray his trust. In a fit of anger, the king banished the little princess from the kingdom. The little princess was devastated. She had never done anything wrong, but now her own father believed that she was a thief. She packed a bag with a few of her belongings and left the kingdom. As she walked through the forest, she came across the same group of children that she had helped a few years earlier. They were shocked to see their hero in distress, and they surrounded her, asking her what had happened. The little princess told them about what had happened with her father, and the children were furious. They helped her to gather her things, and then they marched her to the nearest village. When the villagers heard about what had happened to the little princess, they were outraged. They had loved her for all of the good that she had done for the kingdom, and they would not stand by and watch as she was punished for a crime she didn't commit. The villagers gathered together and marched to the palace, demanding that the king allow the little princess to return. The king was nervous, but he knew that he had made a mistake. He had been manipulated by the merchant, and he had not taken the time to listen to his daughter's side of the story. He allowed the little princess to return to the kingdom. When the little princess returned, she was greeted with a hero's welcome. The villagers lined the streets, cheering her name and thanking her for all that she had done for them. The little princess was humbled by the support of the people, and she knew that she had made the right decision by helping them in the past. The little princess continued to do good deeds throughout the kingdom, and her reputation as a kind and compassionate ruler grew. She was beloved by her people, and they knew that they were lucky to have her as their princess. The little princess never forgot the pain that she had endured at the hands of her own father. But she also knew that he had made a mistake and he had apologized. She forgave him and she continued to visit him at the palace. As the years passed, the little princess grew older and wiser. She had proven herself to be a capable and intelligent ruler, and her people were sad to see her go. But she knew that it was time to move on and let a new generation of leaders take over. She chose her son to be the next king, and he was crowned in a beautiful ceremony. The little princess was so proud of her son, and she knew that he would do a good job as king. In her old age, the little princess continued to live in the kingdom, and she was always active in the community. She was a mentor to her son and helped him to guide the kingdom into a new era of prosperity. She was also a beloved grandmother to her grandchildren, and she enjoyed spending time with her family. As the years passed, the little princess became a legend in the kingdom. Her story was told and retold, and she was remembered as one of the greatest rulers in history. She had proven that a woman could be both powerful and compassionate, and she had shown that even a princess could make a difference in the world. And that is the story of the little princess. Now it's time for bed. You can also listen to more stories on our platform or follow us for more videos.